Hello friends, so in this video, we would be configuring the domain controller. We would do some DNS configuration. We would be creating Active Directory user, and then, we would be enabling the failover cluster features onto the nodes, right? Uh, so this is in our series. This is the part 2. If you have not already, watched part 1, then I would suggest, initially have a watch on part 1 so that you will understand this in a better way. In part 1, we created the virtual machines and then we configured the static IP address, right? So let us continue with this. Of course, I would be, in this video, I would be actually including the link to my part 1 video. So if you have not yet have a looked at it, please have a look, right? Let us start with configuring the domain controller. So if you remember, then we have created three machines, Node1, Node2, and the DC. So I have already logged into the DC machine, right? And to configure the domain controller, uh, uh, go on the server manager, right? Click on the add and role features here, right? Uh, and then click on next here. Role-based feature-based installation. We would be going with a role-based feature installation. Click next. You can see your machine here with the IP address. Nothing to select on the feature tab as well. Okay. And here we would have to select Active Directory Domain Services, right? So you can select Active Directory Domain Services, add feature, okay, and then click next. We have already selected this. Click next. Click next here again. On ADDS features, we don't have to select anything, right? And then click on restart the destination uh, server automatically if required. Once this is done, basically this is very simple configuration. Once this is done, click on the install button. It will take some time. We will come back once it is over. Right then, now this is the configuration and installation is completed. You can see here configuration required installation succeeded on DC. Close this, and on the right hand corner you can see this flag, right? So click on that flag, and you will have to say you will have to click on promote this server to a domain controller. Okay. Click on add new forest here and provide the forest name here. Okay, so in my case I would say Windows DC. Okay, and then root domain name, create next. Okay, it is saying me, so add a new forest. So I can say, okay, we need to say windowsdc.com. Okay. Let us correct this. We want windowsdc.com. Okay, right? Then click next. Right here, you will have to provide password so that you can, whenever the machines are logged in or connected to this domain controller, at that point of time this password is needed. So please remember, usually what I do is, I would at least for the demo purpose I use the same password which I have created for logging to my VM machine, right? So provide the password here, which would be used several times. Once the password is given, click on next. On a DNS option, it's I think still going on. I think we had done something wrong here. Okay. Then we don't have to do at such this, you might not be asked for this, but anyway, if it is asked, then we have provided the username and password. Then on NetBIOS name will be automatically, it will come automatically. Give some time. So you can see Windows DC, it has came automatically. Click on next. Nothing to change on the paths, so we are okay with this. Click on next, and then click on next again on the review scripts also, review options. This is checking all the prerequisites, right? So all prerequisite checks pass successfully, click install. So once you get this message, click on install. And it should take some time. Let me pause this video. Once it is done, we would get back. Okay, so now that domain controller got installed, and once that is installed, it would restart the machine. So our machine is restarted, and I'm again logging in back. Now you can see as we already have a domain controller, so now you can, you can log in with that domain controller. So our domain controller name was Windows DC, and then you need to provide a username and password. So with this username and password, we can connect to the domain controller. Can you see here dc.windowsdc.com, right? So now we are actually logging in back with the help of the newly created domain. So let it get connected, and then we would move ahead for the DNS configuration. So now our machine is back. It is fully loaded, right? Now let us see. Let us go do DNS configuration. So for DNS configuration, click on the tools here and select on the DNS. You can see here. Okay, expand the domain controller. Expand it. Right. Right click on the reverse lookup zone here. Let it come. Okay, I think here, and then click on new zone, right? Within new zone, click on the next, select primary zone here, and to all DNS server using the domain controller windows.dc.com, right? Select IPv4 reverse lookup zone, and here we need to, if you remember, we had given the IP address as 10.0.0.30, 31, and for domain controller 17, right? So here we will have to provide only first three uh, from our IP address, first three characters, that is 10.0.0, and then click on next. You will have to select allow only secure dynamic updates recommended here, right? Allow only secure dynamic updates. Okay. Then click next, and then finish. Okay. So that's it. We have created the DNS to this. Now let us do an Active Directory, right? Uh, for this, we will have to let us do an Active Directory. For creating an Active Directory user, we will have to you will have to type a dsa.msc here, okay? and under that, you know, you will see your windows.dc.com here. Right click on the users, okay, and click on new user. I'm giving the name here as AD admin, okay, AD admin. Click next. Password, I would suggest to keep the same password, okay. User must change the password. Remove this. User cannot change the password, and password never expires, right? Make this those changes, then click next, and then finish, right? Now we need to add this to a domain admins, right? So click on the user, double click on this user. It will open all the like tabs, and it will open the properties. Double click on the domain admins, I member of, right? Then click on, you need to click member of, right? And then click on add, and you can type here domain admins, check names. See, you can see here, and then click OK. So domain admins and domain users, okay? And then click OK. Let us check whether it has been added or not. So member of domain admins, yeah. Yeah, so that's it. It is done, right? We have actually configured the domain controller now. We had done the DNS settings, and we have created this one admin user which would be used. Okay, right. Now it's time to actually add the failover cluster feature on Azure VM. Failover cluster, we need to enable this failover cluster properties on both our Azure VMs, that is Node 1 and Node 2. So let me connect to Node 1 and Node 2 and get back to this. Okay. Okay, so I have now logged into my Node 1. Now, please, watch carefully. Whatever steps I perform here, you will have to perform these steps on another VM, that is Node 2 as well, right? Click on add roles and features, right? Click next on before you begin screen here. Click on role-based or feature-based installation. Okay. You can see here SQL Node 1 and your IP address, right? Click next. On server roles, we don't have to select anything. And in features, you will be selecting this failover clustering. Okay, add features. Click next. Restart the destination server automatically if required, right? So say yes, and then click on install. Right, guys, so this will take some time to install. Hope you have understood configuring domain controller, creating an Active Directory user, and then adding this roles of failover clustering to both the VMs. So now this step you will have to create, you will have to do it for both the steps. Both the VMs, right? So with this, we are ending this part 2 video. See you in part 3 video where we would be joining our VMs to our domain controllers with the by updating DNS server address, and then we would move on. Okay, so thanks for watching this, and hope you will enjoy all the videos in this series. Meet you next time with the next part. Till then, bye. Take care.